just talked to Member Kane.
No, not real. No, I didn't. Okay.
When you're ready.
Okay, all right, sounds good. All right. Yeah, I meant to. But yeah, this morning. Well, get up and go. All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Braintree Planning Board meeting for September 10th, 2024. We have not quite a full board tonight. We have Member Conley, Member Kent, Member McCamey, myself, Kim Crowa, and as we normally do, we'll start with the old new business at 7 p.m. and then move into the continued the public hearings, in which tonight are all continued at 7:15. So, our first order of business here, we'll call the approval not required plans for 110 Hancock Street.
Got the little desk today.
Thank you. Let's get this one for this table.
Good evening, Madam Chairman. Chairperson. For the record, my name is Carl Johnson, and I represent 110 Hancock Street, LLC, which is the owner of the property that was formerly the Braintree Lumberyard and is now the Timberland Lumberyard on Hancock Street. What's before you is an application for 81P endorsement of a plan, and as the staff report indicates, this is under an 81L exemption. And the 81L exemption is recited in the staff report in that this does not constitute a subdivision plan, and therefore endorsement is ministerial. Whether a plan is entitled to endorsement approval under the subdivision control law not required is determined by the definition of a subdivision found in Mass General Laws, Chapter 41, Section 81L. The definition includes an exemption. The exemption is the division of a tract of land on which two or more buildings were standing when the subdivision control law went into effect in the city or town, in which the land lies into separate lots, each of which must have a building remaining standing and shall not constitute a subdivision. In this case, after the submission of the application for the A&R approval, we went before the Zoning Board of Appeals principally because this changes lot lines, so that what was had already received variances and findings from the Zoning Board of Appeals in 1998 were required to meet certain setback requirements. Those were granted at the last meeting of the Planning Board, of the Zoning Board of Appeals. This is an unusual site. This is something that was formerly owned by Old Colony Railroad. when it came in the 1840s, and that this property existed well before the adoption of the subdivision control law in the town of Braintree in 1949, and also before the zoning ordinances were adopted in 1940. Again, Myrtle Avenue is actually a passageway or a right-of-way that provided access to the, excuse me, I'll try to be brief. Provided access to Old Colony Railroad, which had a large development on the side. Therefore, would ask you to endorse this plan. I would point out, I know the comment is that this doesn't have frontage. It actually does front on the way, but frontage is no longer required by a recent SJC decision. You may know Attorney Tom Williams from Quincy. For years, he fought through the court system to prove that his property in Norwell predated the adoption of the subdivision control law and the adoption of frontage. Frontage did not become into being until 1953, on the last, when the subdivision control law was the last time it was, excuse me, the final revision to it in 1953 included the concept of frontage. So I can answer any questions that you may have about this. And I'll refrain from going into too much into the history.
Attorney Johnson, what's happening with the rest of what looks like it used to be the private way in the back? It shows a line sort of in the middle of the new lot too.
Well, it's very interesting. Some of the properties do not have, this is, if you'll notice, the setback from the building that was approved by the planning board, again in 1998, that it actually, that Myrtle Avenue is part of the fee of 110 Hancock Street. And that Crescent Street appears to be a roadway which people come across. That's not a roadway. They're just driving across their property. It's a real mess down there, and this is also somewhat of an opportunity to try to clean things up. The entire width of 33 feet, which is 2 rods, is actually subject to a sewer easement from the town of Braintree, which it took in 1939. It took it by a plan, but did not take it by town meeting. So they're the ones that do some of the maintenance on the properties as well. Some of the things we're going to have to deal with after this is to really hone in on some improvements on the roadway, what's going to happen, and probably grant easements to people that have been there for a long time because they likely have prescriptive easements for access using Myrtle Avenue. Myrtle Avenue is not listed as a town way or a private way on some things, but it's shown on the zoning maps that 1940 and so forth, town-wide zoning maps.
And there's no access between, I guess, what's Lot 1 and Lot 2? It all comes out?
There is not. Well, the only access would be through the right-of-way.
I guess my question is, Lot 2 doesn't have to go through Lot 1, right? They have the driveway that goes out to Myrtle Ave and then out?
No, it has to go through. The solid, if I may through the chair, the entirety of the way is wholly contained within that lot.
Okay.
Kyle and I have gone back and forth on and trying to figure out, and we kind of arrived at, we were looking at other things where we would give that entire area to that back lot, but it's not needed. They do meet the provisions, and if there's going to be some future activity or something happening there, they're currently all held commonly, but if they do split them, if they change ownership of the two-family, we talked about an access easement.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's hard to explain. I think it just kind of morphed, and then houses were built, and people drive there. It's a very interesting situation, because then the right-of-way and the perimeter of the boundary of that, which is also the perimeter of the lot, then butts up to another lot. There's no way that goes in the back there to connect to Crescent. So it's kind of a terminus of a bunch of lots, and that upper, and on that plan, upper left corner.
Hopefully, if I might, this lies also not only in industrial, this severs industrial from residential by creating this, but this is also in the MBTA 3 Village Overlay District, which requires 3 families on a property. This meets those very minimal requirements it shows on the corner for the MBTA district as well. So it is desire of the retail lumber and retail facility to try to not have a residential dwelling on their property liability, and also would like to sell it if it's possible.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you for explaining. Member McCamey, any questions?
What could possibly go on 1517 Myrtle?
The only thing that's there now. What do you mean, possibly?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, if it does something according to zoning, it would be probably a triplex, which are 3 townhouses.
oh,
It would be tight, but you can do it under the regulations.
okay. Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Member Kent? No questions. Member Conley? Okay, thank you. All right, well, with that, I think we'd just be looking for a motion to endorse the plan as approval not required. Motion by Member Conley. We have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Kent. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay, take care. Thank you.
I hope I didn't take too much time with your busy schedule.
I appreciated the background. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll do the paperwork tomorrow, Kyle. Thank you.
Do I sign it? Yes.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is the as-built approval for 2535 Commercial Street. Are we just tabling that one again?
We are, Madam Chair. There has been progress, though, just to update. The maintenance agreement was endorsed by Mayor Headland, and I'm going to be meeting with Mayor Joyce to review that on Thursday, get that signed, and then get that over to Mr. Katzen to get recorded. And that was just the last outstanding piece. So that should be ready to go next month.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Thank you. And the next item we have on here, the Registry of Deeds Planning Board update.
If I may, through the chair, which I've asked this to be tabled just because Member Kane isn't here. The board reorganized a couple meetings ago, and what we would like to do is just have, at the next meeting, when we have everybody here, to just confirm Member McCamey as the clerk again in those signatures, and we send those forms over. I've been signing the decisions just because it's easier, attesting the vote of the planning board. And there hasn't been any issues. One person had an issue when they tried to record it electronically, and then they went down there, and the person had seen. So we just want to include that also in the letter. So it would just be confirming Member McCamey, and then the board confirming that it's okay for me to sign the decisions. And we send a letter to the land court and to the registry, so they have that on file. We haven't done it in a couple of years, but we've had like 3 or 4 meetings where there was not a real point to do that because things were changing. So now that everyone's in their permanent seats in positions, we'll bring that forward next month.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of meeting minutes for July 9th, 2024. Member Kent was not here, so that'll be Member Conley, Member McCamey, and myself. If anybody has any questions or comments, otherwise be looking for a motion to approve those minutes.
Move to approve the minutes?
Motion by Member McCamey. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Conley. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, and we're going to table the August 13th until the next meeting also. All right, next up is planning board fees.
If I may, through the chair, the administration and finance here in Braintree have asked us to look at our fees. So we're in the process of looking at all the boards, the local fees and conservation side, planning, historic, as well as ZBA and planning. So we will be putting some things together, likely some tables showing our current fees and some other communities, abutting communities, and then make some projections. I see some portions, I think that the fees are a little bit low, others maybe a little bit high. So we just want to take a look at those and just make sure that we're competitive with our abutting communities. Generally people working in these, Quincy, Weymouth, Braintree, Randolph. So we're going to be looking at that. I just wanted to let the board know that's going to be forthcoming. The planning board fees aren't in the bylaw, so those I don't think we need to advertise. But if we get into the subdivision control ones, which I don't think we need to really look at, we do very, very few subdivisions. Because those are in the subdivision rules and regulations, I believe that needs to be advertised. So we'll have that we'll have it on when it's ready for discussion. We can look at it, and then procedurally, if we need to hear them, we'll do that as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. So now we'll move on to the public hearings. I'm just going to call them a little bit out of order. The first one is 119 and 133 Common Street. Planning Board File 2407. Could you give us an update on today's?
Yes, Madam Chair, we received earlier today a request for continuance. We're going to be meeting with those folks next week, along with our life and fire safety professionals here in the community, to try to work through some of the concerns locally. So that will be continued to October 8th.
Okay, thank you.
When you vote.
All right, so we'd be looking for a motion to continue that to October 8th.
So move.
Motion by Member Kent. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Conley. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next item up, Town Council Order 24034. That is on the agenda as request to be continued without testimony. So we'd just be looking for motion to continue that hearing to October 8th as well.
So move.
Motion by Member Kent. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Conley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. And next up, we have 238 310 Grove Street, Planning Board File 24-04. Good. Hear from the applicant on this one. Thank you.
Hi, how are you? My name is Jason Abraham with Aquatats.
Okay. Thank you. And if you want to, I know we had a presentation before. I can't remember exactly what month that was.
2 months ago.
July.
Yeah, I was here 2 months ago.
If there are any updates that you want to share, or else I know we have a staff report here, and I'll ask the Assistant Director to give us an update also. But if there's anything you want to share or present at this time, feel free.
No, really, we're just happy and excited to move forward with this thing. We're excited to be a part of your community, and hopefully all is well.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you. And Assistant Director Murphy, I know we have a staff report from you. Could you give us an update on some of what's happened in the last couple of months?
Yes, I could, Madam Chair. If I may, through the chair to the board and the applicant, they last met back in July where they gave their presentation. Staff had a few minor comments that they asked the applicant to address. The applicant has addressed all of those comments, and since July, we have been working on draft conditions. If you were to look at the draft conditions, they are fairly unique in terms of their numbering, and B, Condition 3. And Condition 3 calls out for the applicant and/or property owner to satisfy certain concerns that our department has raised since the application was filed. So we had met with the property owner, Sterling Organization, back in the beginning of the summer. And we addressed some of these issues, and they're working towards developing a modification of Decision 8917. And before the applicant can pull a building permit to begin their work, the property owner has to modify Decision 8917 to rectify dumpster areas and the site's landscaping. Other than that, staff is recommending approval with the draft conditions and findings as presented tonight.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
See if there's any questions from the board. Member McCamey?
Yep, thank you. It's coming back to me. You're going to go to the CVS spot.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Looks like they're making good strides on the new building. When do you think that they might leave?
Great question.
Not soon enough. They project CVS to open sometime October. And their lease ends no matter what, end of the year. They have to vacate no matter what.
They have to vacate Windsor?
End of the year.
Got it, okay.
Yep.
And I know we talked about this last time, but I think there's great interest in hearing again how you're going to put the pool or whatever you call it in there. I think you told me you're going to dig a hole and put in maybe a prefab. So if you could just go through that with us again, I want to be entertained again. Yeah.
Sure.
Not
I'll let Jay take it. You can probably entertain way better on that subject.
Not a problem. So it's really just a general build, standard slab on grade in a shopping center. Dig about 18 to 1900 square foot pool. The pool consists of only 4 foot deep.
Okay.
The walls are, it's not a prefab, it's all, it's a gunite pool.
Okay.
And it's got like a foot thick of walls and flooring and rebar. By the time the rebar is done, it's like a 12 by 12 inch grid. So it's full of rebar and concrete,
So they're really only going to dig down 6 foot or so?
tops,
Yeah.
tops,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We won't hit bedrock, no worries.
Okay, there's a lot of bedrocker in this town.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But yeah, after that is just a regular construction build. So that's the whole heart of the build. It's the pool. The rest of it is just the general offices, restrooms,
Yep.
checkout desk, and what have you.
Right,
But nothing special after that.
okay. I think a lot of people that I've spoke to, they're interested in seeing what it looks like.
Yes.
And they were in
Yeah.
Norwood too.
I am
we had
too.
a lot of people
Oh, yeah.
coming by like, you're going to put a pool in there?
Yeah.
And especially when the front facade started going down and we
Yeah.
built up in front of it, there was a lot of people that wanted to see that too.
Right.
And say they were
Exactly.
thinking it. We understand that.
They were
interest, for
thinking
sure.
it's above ground. We're like, no, it's
Yeah, no, I told them it wasn't, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Kent?
Just one question, will there be front entrance and rear entrance, or the main entrance will be?
front
business-
entrance only. Front entrance only, and the back door is just for egress, employee egress.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
and parking for employees will be in the
In the back.
rear, okay.
Yeah.
Yep, thanks.
All right, Member Conley?
I had seen the Norwood location over the weekend, and I'm excited to have that option here for
Nice.
Braintree's families.
Thanks for
Yes,
coming to see
yes.
us. That'd be
Yes.
fun.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't have any questions. I looked through the materials and I remember speaking last time. And just so we have for the record, could you state your name also?
Oh, I'm sorry, Tyler Bradshaw.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
No worries. Okay. So no other questions. It is a public hearing. If anybody would like to speak on the application, now's the time.
I think the guy in the corner wants to say something. He's playing the piano.
All right, so with that, I'd be looking to enter the correspondence list through, that we have through September 6th into the record.
So moved.
Motion by Member Kent. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Member McCamey. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, and a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved?
Motion by Member Conley. Do we have a second?
Second,
Second by Member Kent. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. And then we would be looking for a motion to grant special permit and site plan review as with draft conditions stated in staff report 2.
Madam Chair, I'll move to approve the use special permit site plan review 238 310 Grove Street, file 24-04, with the conditions as presented by the staff.
I'll second.
All right, and we have a second by Member Kent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
I appreciate it.
Okay. With that, we're looking for a motion to close tonight's hearing.
Make a motion to close the hearing.
Motion by Member Conley. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Kent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Good job.
New record. That was easy.